What does his text mean?
So frustrating.
Maybe he's just not that into me.
No, she really likes
I've
me.
always been bad
How
at
can I
flirting.
get her attention?
I'm ready for
I just
marriage.
want somebody to share my life.
Is this relationship
going
anywhere?
anywhere? Modern Love Made Simple. This is Dates and Mates with Damona Hoffman. Hello, lovers. Welcome to another action-packed episode of Dates and Mates. I first want to just thank our subscribers so much because as of this week, we have become one of the top shows in not one, not two, but three categories on Apple Podcasts. We're in the top rankings for health, for self-help, and for society and culture. So if you know of someone else who could use this advice, let's keep spreading the love. It's the week of Valentine's Day. Let's keep the love going. So if you're a subscriber who shares this episode this week and you tag me at Damona Hoffman, you will actually be entered to win a 30-minute free dating or relationship coaching session with yours truly. That's my thank you to you for spreading the love of Dates and Mates for the last 6 years. So y'all, it's February. Is that the proper way to say it? It's Feb. And you know what that means? Well, of course it means Valentine's Day, but it also means Black History Month. And some of you know I was the host and dating expert of a TV show called #BlackLove. And I realized when I was doing that show that Black love means very different things to very different people. So today I brought in a panel of couples who are living the principles of Black love to talk about what it means to them. And then for Black History Month, we also will be going into a little romance rollback, and I'll share some little known stories and secrets from famous Black couples throughout history. So it's a little bit of history, a little bit of advice, and a little bit of open conversation about what Black love means in honor of Black History Month. So before we do all that, let me introduce my guest co-host for today. He is a returning champion. I think this is his fourth appearance on Dates and Mates. Yes, relationship scientist, Dr. Rael Sims.
Yes.
He is a cognitive neuropsychologist, behaviorist, and motivational speaker. Dr. Rael and his work have appeared all over the globe, from Essence Magazine to NPR to the Dates and Mates podcast. So please give big smooches to my guest co-host, Rael Sims.
Yes, hey.
PhD.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much again.
Well, you're welcome so much again. And we have headlines to hit, including, should you pay for your dating profile to be featured on apps like Tinder or Bumble? I'll give you the scoop on that. Plus, a Hollywood star who made headlines this week for being a little insecure in his relationship. And a new study on American intimacy. We're going to keep it clean, but we're going to give you some news you can use in a little bit. So, Rael, let's roll up our sleeves.
Okay. I'm ready.
And let's
drum roll.
and let's do the dish.
Dee's dating dish.
Spotlight. Bumble. I wanted to make it very dramatic, but it's just a new feature. It's a new feature on Bumble that allows you to pay to be boosted, to be featured. Spotlight, it costs $1.99, and it basically makes you front and center on people's swipe page for 30 minutes, making your profile really hard to ignore. Here's my question,
Yes.
Rael. Is it worth it to pay for something like this? Does it make more sense? You're the relationship scientist. Will you get more likes if you are more visible, or is that the wrong thing to be paying for?
Well, it's been a really big argument about just online dating, period. And I think it really depends on how busy you are, where you don't have time to go places to mingle, like clubs and stuff like that. And, you work like late hours and everything. And so it could be a possibility that it could be worth it.
You're not going to put down on dating apps, are you?
No.
Not in my house.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But here's my perspective.
Yeah.
As a dating app writer, I started 13 years ago writing dating profiles. I think that should be your biggest calling card. So if you're not getting the swipes and you're not getting matched, to me that says that's a problem with your profile, and that needs to be fixed before you pay to be featured to more people. You're just featuring a crappy profile. If it's not working for
Now,
you
that's a good
already,
point.
fix that first.
Fix it first and then pay for it.
And maybe then
But
pay
you
for
might
it.
not have to. Like you said, you may not have to, because if you fix it, then you'll notice, or you'll realize, hey, I'm getting a lot of likes without having to actually pay for it. So
Exactly.
if you have both, then it's okay.
And actually, I was talking with my cousin who's on Hinge, and he's cleaning up on Hinge.
Yeah.
And he said that they actually gave him a free featured account because so many people
So many
liked
people
him.
kept liking him, right?
So many people liked him.
Yeah.
But also he was being active and he was messaging back women, and he was messaging to them. And on Hinge, you have to respond
Yeah.
to something in their profile. It's
Yeah.
not just right swipe, left swipe. It's you have to engage. So he was really engaging, so they actually rewarded him for that. And even if they're not rewarding you by giving you a free profile,
Yeah.
a free account, they will reward you by showing your profile to more people if you're more active like that.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense. It also gives you an incentive to respond. I mean, just based on the corporation, the business, and the algorithm, and making sure that you do respond and that you're not just here and just waiting on the people to like you. You got to be active.
You got to be active.
Yeah.
One person who was a little active over the weekend, Offset. He was just doing way too much when Cardi B, his boo again, his former boo, again boo, won at the Grammys. It was kind of strange how much this resembled A Star is Born. I don't know if you've seen that movie where, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that movie, I'm going to just tell you everything about that movie now. So skip ahead if you don't want to know. Spoiler alert, skip ahead 30 seconds. But in that movie, Bradley Cooper has he's got some issues, and I don't even remember his character's name. And Lady Gaga, whatever her character's name is, wins at the Grammys.
Yeah.
And his sorry butt goes up on stage, is like tripping on stage, trying to be with her and taking the spotlight when it's supposed to be her moment.
Right.
Okay. And now we're back. We're back to Cardi B and Offset.
Yes.
Basically the same thing happened. She
Yeah.
won, and he was like, I'm going to claim her and I'm going to hold her hand and we're going to go in the spotlight together. And he was like photobombing on every
Right.
picture,
Yeah.
like behind
Was
her
he supposed
at
to
the
go
mic.
up on the stage with her?
You tell me, relationship scientist Rael. I feel like that was her moment,
I think that was her moment.
and he needed to back up,
Yeah.
even if they are together
Totally.
again.
Totally. I mean, it was just obvious. It was just so obvious that, and it got to the point where she almost forgot to thank him, right? Because she was thanking everybody, and what is this? What did she say? And thank you.
You. What's
What
your
did
name?
she say?
Wait, who are
Right.
you again?
Right. And thank you. And then she went to her friend. She said, "What's my husband's name?" Nah.
They have such a complicated
Yeah.
history, on again, off again,
Right.
have a baby, saying they're engaged, but they're already married.
Yeah.
And then cheating, and I think he's just really trying to show that he messed up.
Right. Right.
And he's
Yeah.
doubling down on the fact that he's there for her. But
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. The best
Yeah.
indicator of someone's future behavior is how they've behaved in the past.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
So I wish them lots of luck, but
Yeah, I do. I really do.
should have given her her moment.
Yeah, that was the only thing. We understand, people deserve a second chance, right? But he wanted to let us know that he has a second chance,
Right.
Because nobody knew, actually, because people were saying, "Hey, wait a minute, is that her husband?
He's still here?
Is that her husband?"
He's still
Because when they show the camera, when they're sitting down, you were like, "Hey, wait a minute," and yes, that is him.
It was
because
really clear.
They made it clear.
When they tongue touched on the red carpet. That was the most non-romantic thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That was not so intimate. But as we're talking about intimacy, it turns out that Americans are struggling right now. There's a new study done by Nonfiction Research, an independent company in Brooklyn, and it turns out people are really suffering in terms of not having enough intimacy. And a quarter of Americans feel like they have no one in their life that they can be 100% themselves with. And that makes me really concerned for people. I've said for a while that we have a problem with touch. Like we're not getting enough physical touch, and intimacy is a part of that, whether it's in a relationship or outside of a relationship. But it turns out that actually people are reporting the same sort of feelings living outside of solitary confinement as prisoners
Yes.
who are in solitary confinement and
Yes.
are devoid of all physical touch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you actually have studied this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I during that study, I also stumbled on the study of loneliness. So I was interested in that. So I also went into that a little bit and studied that. But what's so amazing is that you're so right. The hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis.
We're going to have to include a dictionary, glossary of terms, producer Leah, with the show notes.
Noted.
Okay.
And the primary primary somatosensory cortex, and we're talking about touch. We're talking about that this is what human beings need. It's very important. So there was it's another part of the study that I found that was so amazing is that prisoners would actually, when you go out to get an exercise or to take a shower, and you know that there's 4 guards, right? And they all have armor on and sticks and everything. Well, the prisoner will actually kick one of the guards or hit one of the guards if he's not handcuffed. He will actually kick one of the guards knowing that he's going to get beat up when he kicks one of them, right? They're going to jump him, hold him down and everything. But he's doing this on purpose just so he could be touched.
Not even knowing it, right? This is
Not
something
even
that
knowing it.
is just sort of
It's
unconscious.
just by the laws of nature. Absolutely.
So what can we
Absolutely.
do?
Sensory deprivation, when we don't have anybody to talk to and we don't have anybody to touch. You remember the movie, Tom Hanks movie, Castaway?
Yes.
Remember if it wasn't for the Wilson ball,
Yeah.
right? That's how he coped. He used that as a coping mechanism in order to survive, because as Maslow's law, we all have a need to belong. And when people say I don't need, that's just totally not.
You're going against your nature. and
You're going against the
conditioning.
laws of nature, because that's not how we were created.
So what
Yeah.
can people do if they're craving intimacy and physical touch and they're feeling like a prisoner in solitary confinement? There's a lot of people that are really suffering right now.
Yeah, a lot of people are isolating themselves. They are actually staying home,
Right.
isolating themselves. And then you have some people that use the theory, I'm gonna wait until my Boaz come to me. But that's a whole different story. We have to come back and talk about that one, because people have that whole myth totally different. So isolating yourself is the same of putting yourself in solitary confinement, right? And the thing is that you really have to get out. You have to do things if you don't have a significant other, right? And you're trying to find someone. And I don't mean that you have to go out to clubs and everything. Just find
Be
other
around people.
Be around people. Be around people. Things that are happening. If you're in the film industry or something, if you're in the dance, if you're whatever you do. Try to make sure that you are involved in some of these activities, right? And I think that's one of the keys. Hang out with your girlfriends and your guy friends, because this isn't just a female thing, right? This is a human thing.
I would think it was
Yeah.
more of a male thing. Even,
Yeah.
But great tips, as
yeah.
always. And I hope for anyone listening, if they are feeling that way, that they take action and do something to get a little bit more physical touch and
Yeah,
intimacy
absolutely.
into their life, even if it's just a hug.
Yeah, we're something real fast.
Okay.
You have in Asia, it's an epidemic. They know that you have Asian seniors that are actually going to the store to steal just to get caught, just so they can go to prison, just so they could be with their friends.
Well, that's why they also have cuddle cafes. Maybe we need some more cuddle
Yeah,
cafes.
absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to get cozy and cuddle up with a couple of couples
Uh-oh.
here today. I have assembled an amazing panel to talk to you about Black love. Joining her husband, Rael Sims, I have Moniece Mitchell Sims. She is a celebrated author, a screenwriter, producer, and director. She has a BA in journalism from Wayne State University and an MFA in film from Columbia College Chicago. And she's currently pursuing a PhD in sociology. Please give big smooches to Moniece Mitchell Sims. Oh my goodness. 2 PhDs in one household.
Oh,
That's almost too much, right?
And in a
She's
little bit, we
competing.
will have our other guests joining us, and I'll introduce them then. But first, I just want to hear your love story. I want to hear how the two of you
How we
first met.
Okay, so back in the day, I was also a producer, director in the film industry, and we had this organization where we help other filmmakers and other writers. During that time, it was beginning to be a strike in the industry. So what we decided to do, a friend of ours, we decided to form this organization of writers and producers and singers and directors and actors and actors, to produce more films and to get to know each other and to network and everything and help each other out and everything. So she was part of the classes because we had certain classes to teach you how to become to budget your script and how to write a script and how to be a first AD and all of
Sure.
that. We did all of that. We had all kind of classes. So what happened is that all the classes that I was either teaching or that I was going to be, then she would try to find out where I was going to be, and then she would show up there, and like
Whoa,
every
hold
class.
on, hold on, wait.
Fake news.
I need to.
I need confirmation.
I know. I need to get the ladies'
She would
perspective.
show up on every last
no,
class
no.
that I was teaching.
How much
No.
of that did you
Right.
agree with? You agreed up to the classes part.
Yes,
but I
and
could
then
see
it
your
went
face.
off the rails. No,
It just so happened that you were in the same place.
Okay, so I was signing up for everything because I just moved here from Chicago. So I was just trying to sign up for everything I could. And he was a part of the inner circle that was organizing everything. So he was finding my name on list and showing up to every class that I was going to.
This is interesting. I don't know who to believe.
Believe
Yes.
me.
Believe me.
No.
Believe
I'm
me.
telling
Look at my
you.
face. Look at my
Either way, you both ended up in the same place at the same time a lot of times.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
as classmates, that must have been a little awkward to bridge that gap. Who made the first move? And I'm going to start with
I'm the
Moniece.
truth teller.
And
Yes.
we're going to see if it matches
Oh, that's
up.
not
I should
fair.
I
That's
should
not fair.
sequester you each into
That's
booths
not fair.
and see how well these
I want to
stories
tell. I
line
want to
up.
tell the truth.
No, we both made this moves at the same time, but he had ulterior motives. I was for business. I didn't know what was going on in his head. So he knew I was a writer. So he kept saying he had the screenplay that he needed some help on. Would I mind working on it with him? And every time I would see him, we would exchange information, but he would never call. So I thought he was just like BS, and I'm like, okay, who is this dude? Like, whatever.
I know there's a lot of ladies listening that are like, I've been there. I gave him my number 6 times.
Exactly.
And I figured it's not happening.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
so he didn't contact me, but I found out later the reason that he didn't contact me was because at the time he was getting his life straight. He said he knew when he first saw me that I was the one.
Yeah.
So he had to get rid of some people.
Yeah.
This is a good story.
So he didn't want to call me until he was prepared to be in a relationship. I had no idea that any of this was happening. I was not looking for a relationship. But he
Whoa, but
knew.
Rael, you almost blew it.
Yes.
Because any guys listening,
Yes.
if a girl gives you her number like 6 times and
Yes.
you don't do anything about it, she might not give it to you a 7th time.
Yeah. It was 8 times.
8 times?
No. I don't know.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I need to fact check. So
Yeah.
eventually then, you agree with that, and then eventually
actually,
you
we didn't
reached
even
out.
start dating then. What happened is that I ended up producing her films Showtime.
Is that what they call it now?
No, honestly, I was
Yeah.
as clueless as you can think about this thing. So I was, since I knew him the most, because he kept giving me his phone number. When I got to do my film for Showtime, I just looked to my right and I was like,
How about
"Will you produce it?"
I guess you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Sure."
But
And
did
so
it,
we
how
were
long
still
did it take to
friends.
turn romantic? You were friends first.
Actually, she realized that there was some chemistry there, but we're working. I don't
Answer
know.
the question, Rael. How long did it take to turn romantic?
It didn't for me. It was instantly. I mean, but I just had
Moniz.
to take my time.
How long did it take to turn romantic?
Again, it took a little while for me to get romantic.
Yes.
But
You had a film to make.
yeah, I had a film to
yeah,
make.
she was
but-
thinking business.
But he was also my only friend that I knew. So we just started hanging out and spending a lot of time together and going to movies and playing video games and things like that.
And it just evolved
And I
quick-
realized that I liked
slowly.
him, that I wanted to spend more
Aw.
time with him. And then it became romantic, but we also had a film to make. So we didn't want everybody to know that
a
we were
few
dating.
films to make.
Oh.
So while we're on the set, people could see. People were like, "So
going
you
on?"
guys are not
fooling
dating?"
anybody.
You're like,
No.
no.
Ha!
But then
They
it's
got
every
the
once in a
last
while
laugh
I'll be
now.
like, baby, can you? I mean, Moniz,
Moniz,
can
person
you?
with whom
can
I have a
you-
totally
Yes.
professional relationship.
You hear people go, "Did he say baby?"
Yes.
I think he said baby.
Well, I want to bring in our other guest into this conversation. They're actually newlyweds. So you two have been together for a while.
Yes.
Yes. How many years?
We've been together 22 years
22
and married for
years,
15
yeah.
in March.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. All right, well, on the line, we have some newlyweds who can give us some of that fresh black love to share. And let me introduce them. They're Ollie Gabriel and Quinae Foray. They are world travelers, entrepreneurs, real estate investors, and emerging leaders. They now travel the globe performing, speaking, and mentoring other professionals and couples on how to achieve more happiness, more wealth, and more success. Also, in his spare time, Ollie is an award-winning top 10 recording artist with over 22 million streams, and he's founded a successful entertainment company. And Quinae, in her spare time, has an MBA in finance and is a patent-holding inventor, corporate consultant, and happiness influencer. Please give big smooches to Quinae and Ollie.
Oh wow! You should play that song, "Happy."
We should
that's
play
a
one of
wonderful
Ollie's songs.
Yeah.
Ollie has a new song coming out this week, I Love Love.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I love love too. And I want to hear your love story and how you two newlywed lovebirds met.
It was really divine intervention. Truly.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Okay, we were
Go
both
on.
at a party in Beverly Hills that neither one of us wanted to go to. And somehow we ended up there, and on the dance floor, I'm, doing my thing,
You got
The
moves,
girls,
Quinae, huh?
all of a sudden,
She's got
I
moves.
was falling down, and about a foot from the ground, someone caught me.
Superman.
Oh my gosh, this is like a rom-com.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
Yeah.
And
Well,
then,
she was dancing, and she got 2 left feet, so so she you know how you can see in your peripheral if someone's falling, and I kind
No,
of like
I
was like,
don't.
oh, this
That
person's
was special
falling.
for you.
Yeah.
Superman.
I got quick hands, and and then when I caught her, she actually kind of got mad at me. She was saying that I pushed her. And
I was flirting. I didn't want him to walk away. So I was like, what can I say? And I was just too much vodka. And I was just like, why did you push me?
They call that negging.
Negging. Yeah,
That.
she was negging.
I was definitely doing that.
No,
I
I
didn't
did
get it at
see. I did
Well, see, at least she
see,
told the truth.
Oh, Moniz, I think that was a dig.
Whatever.
So I saw Ollie on your Instagram, your wonderful, beautiful Instagram. I saw a picture of the two of you, and you said that when you were 12, you said a prayer asking your future wife to be a mix of Claire Huxtable, Kiki Shepard, Angela Bassett, and your friend's mom, who you had a super crush on.
Thanks, Mom.
But you feel like
What's his name?
Oh.
But she just said my friend's mom, and I'm like, what if he's listening to this? He doesn't
Right,
know this.
right. You can't say that.
It could be any friend's mom. It could be any friend, any
He's
mom.
like, I only had one friend.
The point is, how did you do? The point is, how did you do? How did she line up with your 12-year-old wish?
Well, I'm a huge believer in manifestation and the power of the tongue. So, I mean, she's pretty much spot on. She got.
You say pretty much.
No. Well, I mean, it depends. I haven't seen you do this thing yet. The Kiki Shepherd kind of thing. Yeah, but I think I did really well. Definitely. I've always my mom. I watched Tina Turner and Apollo. We used to have family night and watch that. So I kind of had an infatuation with those chocolate, beautiful black, natural looking women. And I guess when we met, it was like, oh, just kind of stars went off,
So let me ask you a question, because you did seem to have a clear prototype for black women. Was that something that you feel like was encouraged by your family, or is that just a natural attraction that you had to black women specifically?
I think both for sure. I think growing up as a dark-skinned black man in the South, I grew up in the 90s. It was and I'm from Louisiana, so there's a lot of colorism that took place, with me growing up there. My whole family's Creole. I'm Creole too, but I'm the black sheep of the family kind of. I took more after my dad.
Yeah. So
I grew up with my mom. People never thought she was my mom because she's like so high yellow, what we call her.
Right.
We call her high yellow.
Yeah.
And so that now later in life, having understanding that I understand the impact that had. But I think part of that, because so many guys around me, everything was like, oh, I want a yellow, a red bone, or this or that.
Right.
And me already being the underdog kind of in a lot of ways, I was like, nah, I'm checking for the Chocolate Sisters because, I just, it was part of that. And then it was part of my mom telling me my mom, she loves everybody, but she was always like, look, don't, you better bring me a black girl.
Right.
I love everyone, but
That's what she told me, and I listen to mom.
Yeah, that's right.
Quinay, I want to know your perspective. I'll say when I was hosting Black Love, and just a lot of times when I'm working with black women, they say to me, "Well, I want to have beautiful black babies. Like that is my goal." And so I'm only focusing on dating black men. Was that ever a thought that went through your head, or did you date more of the rainbow?
I grew up in Moorpark, which is a suburb of Los Angeles, and so I was a super minority, whereas him in Louisiana, he probably had a lot more people around that looked like him.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it definitely encouraged to explore the rainbow. And even going through college and my younger years, I never really did discriminate, but I will say that a king is a king, and you just can't deny it when you see it.
Well, I
so
think you both got
I
great catches.
I'm a melanin lover. For one, just the beauty of it, and then for two, for so many other spiritual reasons, that our melanin is a gift from God for us. And so, of course, I want to share that gift with my beautiful brown babies.
Message.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I want to go back here to Rael and to Moniece. People always throw around this term, black love.
Yeah.
The whole TV series I hosted was like, the network said, oh, we see this hashtag black love. Let's make a show called hashtag black love. But that means something. I know what it means to me, but I want to know what it means to you, Rael.
I would like to hear it first.
No. You are my guest
co-host. What does it mean to you?
I asked you the question first.
I think it's really. Oh wow! I'm on the spot.
Let me let your wife speak
Yes,
for you,
yes.
because I'm sure she has an answer.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, for me, Black love is a very layered hashtag.
Mm-hmm.
It's about I think self-love first, and then family love, and then romantic love, and then overall community world love. It's so deep, it's not just one type of love. So for me, whenever I see the hashtag Black love, I'm thinking different parts of my brain starts to activate. Like, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the babies? We talking about the booze? We talking about our brothers and sisters in Moore Park or Shangri-La or Crenshaw? Like we're everywhere, right?
Right.
So I think that if we open up the term of Black love, not just about couples, and look at it from a global perspective, I think that would be a great thing.
See, I told you she'd have a good answer.
And
Rael.
I'm so glad.
Are you taking notes?
Yes, I am. I was taking notes. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
That's real partnership right there, right?
Yes. And some of it I think she stole from me too. I was like, oh, wait a minute.
But you didn't say it
Hey.
first. No, but
Yeah,
but what?
that was good.
Do you want to add on to that?
No.
It was beautiful.
No, that was totally awesome.
Well, I'll say I had a little hesitation even in signing on to do a show called Black Love because I'm half Black and half
Yes.
Jewish, and my husband is white and Jewish and very white, very white. But he's pretty woke. He's all right.
Yeah.
But for me, I think Black love is a celebration of. It's all the things that you said. But I think most people interpret it as a celebration of love between Black people.
Right.
And that gave me pause because I said, well, do I want to be the face of this show that means something different than the life that I'm living? Not that I'm not for Black love. I'm absolutely for Black love.
Yes.
But I wonder if there's a way to embrace Black love, but also can you be an advocate for Black love and not be in a relationship with another Black person?
Right.
I see you nodding your head, Quinae. So why don't you go ahead and respond to that?
Well, I appreciate you being candid about your perspective on that. And to your point, love is love, and Black love has its specific category. But of course, you can always be an advocate for any type of love.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
And I think as long as it doesn't, sometimes people think if you are in a Black love or a mixed love, that means you should not identify of anything, or you should totally ignore one side versus the other, right? And I think it's positive because it's the beauty of both loves, and respecting both loves, right? I think just in the world, I always talk about Alexander, how he loved to travel and going to different cultures, and the reason for doing that is celebrating other other nationalities and other cultures, right? And I think that's the great thing about it too, as well, because I'm also, Rael is just part of the name. It's Yishrael too, so we're both
Hey.
right. So and Creole too as well. So I think it's really important to just it's okay, but just it's not about because. I'm either mixed or I'm married to other than, then I shouldn't acknowledge either side at all. Right?
Well, and I think, ultimately the conversations that I had with the producers were my platform is about love as you are. And that means be yourself and let that attract your highest love to you.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to change my approach because I'm coaching Black women. I'm going to teach Black women how to have self-love and let that bring in their highest love. And they actually said that's why we want you on the show, to show that there's different perspectives. And ultimately, the women, sometimes they went out on dates with people of different backgrounds. And not all of the audience loved that. But I think it's important to hold up examples of Black love as of successful Black couples like the two of you.
Yeah.
In addition to saying you do you. Like you be yourself, and don't be afraid to fall in love if it doesn't fit into the box that you have been told. You know, I'm curious, Moniece. I haven't heard from you in terms of your upbringing and the way that Black love was modeled for you. Was it ever told to you like you need to find a successful Black man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mama said it all the time. So did my daddy. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, around nothing but colored
Grew up
folks.
in Michigan too.
Right. So that's all I saw was chocolate folks everywhere. And it wasn't like implicitly said, like, don't bring home a white boy, but there weren't any around me. So it wasn't really an option anyway. I mean, I was just always attracted to men that reminded me of my father. And my father is a Black man. So that's just who I was attracted to. But as far as my Blackness, I mean, my people are from the South, so I had the whole Great Migration, Southern roots going on. And the history that comes along with that, you know, with sharecropping and being told that they can't go to certain places because of the color of their skin. Or my great-grandmother, you know, she was scarred from the brown paper bag test. She wasn't able to go into a church because her skin was too dark and they couldn't see her veins. So colorism has always been like playing like music in the background.
Right.
And I actually, you know, being a butter pecan color that I am, never really thought about myself as far as like, did I get any type of privileges because I was lighter skinned? My cousins on my father's side are brown and dark brown. So whenever we would go to their gatherings, my sister and I would stand out because we were the brightest of the group. And it never occurred to me at the time as a kid growing up that must be different. But then as I started to get older, I started to notice the difference.
Did it affect you when you were dating? Did that ever cross your mind when you were dating?
No, I mean, honestly, I understand what the brother said about being a chocolate brother, you know, because I was always attracted to the chocolate brothers because when I was coming up in the 80s, it was all about the Albie Shures, the Elder Barges, and the brothers with the good hair. And I was just not checking for them because they were just too vain. Everybody wanted the brother with the good hair. So I was looking for Malik, you know, Abdul.
I was so glad. I was so glad that I was here in LA because I'm originally from Chicago. So I'm glad I was here in LA to get a little tan because
She would have looked right past you.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
really lighter than this. Right?
Yes, you should see his legs. It's
When
scary.
she first saw my legs, she was like, "Oh my God, you're a white boy, aren't you?" I was like,
I'm having too much
"Well,
fun with this
well."
episode. Oh my God.
But I was in California enough to get this tan, so it
Well,
never left.
I want to bring it back to Ollie and Quinay because you travel the world a lot. We talked about what it's like here in California, but what kind of differences do you see when you're traveling the globe in how people react to Black love, a Black couple, the beauty of the melanin you were talking about, Quinay? How is it different internationally?
You know, I feel like overseas, there's not as much stigma maybe that we have like in America with so many stereotypes and maybe negative history, negative stereotypes that surround Black people, Black culture, Black love, and all those things. I don't think those are as prominent in other cultures, and I feel like it shows when we go around. People just people love us everywhere we go. I definitely noticed that people just, oh my gosh.
I personally think though that it's less about us being color per se, like Black, and more of like who we are, because I think that's a big piece of it. You know, in terms
It's
of
just
what
your
you
own
described.
swag, right?
Yes, it's your own. But I do think there is something special about Black people operating on the same frequency with each other, especially a high frequency. And when that energy is together, I do think that there's a regalness to it that a lot of other cultures around the world recognize. You know, like we don't know, a lot of people like know, you know, they really revere African culture and, you know, the Black Madonna, and really have a lot of reverence for who, what our ancestry is and where we come from.
Right.
That I feel a lot of the African Americans in particular, don't even know that history about themselves.
Right. And that's what's important too. That's why I said if you are date other than, it's okay to still embrace both cultures, right?
Yeah.
I think it's still
It's
important.
necessary.
It's really necessary. I think it really is. And because you do find sometimes when you get into the marriage and you think I should not, like, for instance, if there's something on the news about racism or the police officers, beating a black guy, and because you have a white wife, or a husband, and then you say, yeah, there's no racism, he's lying. He deserved to get beat, because you're afraid to just be you, to stay you, because it has nothing to do with you having a white wife or a white husband, and that's the respect of respecting each other, right? And keeping your pride too as well, so I think that's
I agree.
important. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that's
And
beautiful.
staying in your truth.
Staying in
You
your
know,
truth.
you have
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
true to
Absolutely.
who you are, and part of that is your heritage.
Yeah.
And how you came to be where you are together, and to embrace both sides of that. And I think once all sorts of people can cross that barrier and embrace the differences, have those conversations, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I know you are also spreading more love in the world through a giveaway that you're doing. I love
Yes.
giveaway. So let's continue on this on sending good vibes out, and tell everybody how they might be able to win a big prize, a trip.
Yes.
It could go around the world.
Yeah. Well,
There are actually 2 grand prizes.
2 grand prizes, and we're giving away 2 romantic getaways. One to the Caribbean for 7 nights.
6 nights in the
And
Caribbean.
do you qualify
7
by
nights
being on
in-
Dates and Mates?
Dates and Mates?
Hey.
Hey.
No, you
Come
cannot.
on.
No, can Rael apply?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, what can I
Yeah.
apply?
Right? It's 7 nights in Mexico and 6 nights in the Caribbean.
That
and
is
the
too good.
giveaway launched today on Valentine's Day, which is, worldly recognized as a day about love. And Ollie and I, we travel a lot. And one of the things that really has brought us closer together is traveling.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
you have these experiences together. You make so many memories together. You learn a lot about yourself. And you learn a lot about each other when what we were talking about earlier, experience different cultures, have those conversations with people who may not look like you or sound like you.
Yeah.
Travel's all about love. That's I
That's right.
definitely feel.
Well, that's a
You-
That's a
Right.
juicy,
That's
juicy prize that somebody can win. We'll check the rules, the contest rules, Rael, to make
Yes.
sure if you and I are eligible.
I'm trying to
But
see
you can
now.
check the contest rules, and you can enter to win at ilovelovegiveaway.com. And that there's so many ways that you can enter and win, and you can share on social media, and that gets you entries. And there's so much there. And I really want everyone to have a chance at winning. And it's going on for 2 weeks, correct?
It's going
2
on
weeks.
For 2 weeks.
So
and
don't
it's called
wait. Don't wait,
Don't
y'all.
wait.
ilovelovegiveaway.com.
And during the 2 week period, we'll be talking on our Instagram and Facebook Live, just asking some questions that are kind of about Valentine's Day and more kind of surface and cheeky, but then we'll also be getting real and talking about the what's it like being newlyweds, and what are some of the challenges we face, how we've overcome them, and how we've kind of designed our life the way that we have it now in order to love and prosper together.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's called the 14 Days of Love.
14 days
And
of
we're-
love.
Yeah, and because the contest runs for 14 days, and during that time, we're encouraging other people to share their stories about love as well. Like, we want to hear from everyone and hear
Excellent.
how they found their love. And how they
Great. We
shared
will
the love.
we will share the love, and people can check out
Yeah.
ilovelovegiveaway.com for info on that, and they can follow you both on social media. Ollie
Yes.
is Ollie at Ollie Gabriel. Quinay is
Yep.
at Quinay Foray. We'll put all of those links in the show notes. And also look out for Ollie's latest single, I Love Love, on on Spotify and
Yes.
iTunes, wherever you like to listen.
Spotify.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
cool.
also thank you for being here, both of you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us.
us.
This has
Yes.
been really wonderful.
And we'll keep in touch too. I like to
He's
collaborate
trying to get
with
more.
you.
No, he's trying to get more tickets. All right.
No, it's
And,
something
uh,
I'm going to be doing soon that you guys will probably be interested in.
Okay.
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 All right.
Perfect,
Yes,
perfect.
please.
Let's connect it.
And I
Let's do it.
also want to thank Moniece Mitchell Sims on social, and MoniceMitchellSims.com. I will put those in the show notes too. Thank you for sharing your story and your insights with us.
Oh, it's been great. Thank you.
There's more show, though. There's more show. Right after these messages, we will talk about more Black love throughout history here with
Yes.
Rael. So stay tuned. There are over 100 million people using dating apps worldwide. So if you're not finding love there, we might have a problem. But luckily, I have the solution. I'm match dating expert Damona Hoffman, host of the groundbreaking TV series #Black Love and A Question of Love on FYI TV. And as you know, host of the Dates and Mates podcast. My dating advice has been featured in O Magazine, People Magazine, Essence Magazine, and more. I'm also a matchmaker and writer for the Washington Post Date Lab. And during my 13 years as a dating coach, I have found the secret to the perfect dating profile. I hear the same complaints. There are no good men or women online. Dating apps just don't work. I'm just really picky. And I have to be straight with you. That's not the real problem. The problem isn't the app. The problem isn't the dating pool. The problem is you don't have a profile that's attracting the right people to you. So whether you have a profile that's simply not working for you, or you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to begin with creating a captivating profile that does the hard work for you, let me make online dating easy with the Profile Starter Kit. At profilestarterkit.com, I give a simple profile template to follow that works like a charm. It will work as a magnet to draw in the dates who are looking for someone just like you. How do I know? I met my husband online, and so have hundreds of people who have followed my system over the last 13 years. You can do it the hard way, or you can do it my way and let the profile attract quality dates to you. Go to profilestarterkit.com or click the link in the show notes to get started. Welcome back to Dates and Mates. Before we give you the juicy details on some little-known Black love stories, I want to thank our subscribers who've taken the time to leave us a review. Producer Leah, I hear that you have a new review, hot off the presses.
Yes. Reap Rups from Canada says, I love this show. I listen to this show often. Damona is funny and eloquent and all the things. She brings on great guests, and the advice and combos are so helpful. Single girls, get on this podcast. It's time to level up. And there's like a little heart emoji. It's so cute.
Oh, thank you, Reap Rups
Yeah.
from Canada. Look, we're international here.
Yes. Wow.
That is so awesome. I love reading your reviews, and if you haven't left us a review yet, it really helps us to reach more people and heal more hearts. So I would love to know what you love about the show. Tell us what segments you love, which guests you love, guest co-hosts you love, Rael.
Yes,
Let us
yes.
know in the notes, and then we'll keep bringing them
I can
back
keep coming back.
and keep making more of Dates and Mates. So it's Black History Month, and I said I would give a little bit of history of Black love.
Yes.
So we have like 2 minutes left
Uh-oh.
because that conversation was so intriguing. But I want to talk about a couple of spouses that you may not know much about. You may know, but we always hear about Rosa Parks, but nobody ever talks about Ray Parks. Ray Parks was Rosa's husband. He was 9 years older than her, and she actually didn't do so well in school. And Ray was one of the people that said, "No, you got to get your education.
Gotta get your education.
You got to get your education." And he supported her to ultimately attend the Industrial School for Girls and the Alabama State Teachers College for Negroes. That it was the olden times.
Yes, yes.
But that's the name of the school. And he was an activist himself, and they met through. He was fighting Jim Crow segregation and racial brutality, and that was a time when she says not many men were activists in those days, because if it was known that they were meeting, they would be wiped out.
That's right. Absolutely.
So I just wanted to get. Did you know about Ray Parks?
Yeah.
Give props to Ray
absolutely.
Parks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put links in the show notes about all of these love stories so that you can read a little bit more about them. And we hear a lot about Dr. Martin Luther King, but Coretta Scott King was no slouch. And they have a
right.
kind of funny story. I just have to read for you what she thought of him when they first met. She said he was too short and didn't look that impressive. On top of that, he wasn't sporting his normal mustache. He had shaved it during his fraternity pledge process. So she said he also looked quite young. It's kind of funny to think of Dr. King looking like short and not powerful and young. But she saw something in him, and he knew from the beginning. He said he the minute it was like
you said with
sapiosexual. Moniz. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he knew that there was content in her brain beyond just she was studying singing. Yeah. And there was more to her than that. And, she remained active, very active in the causes of racial and economic justice, even after his passing, all the way through her death in 2006. Yeah. And then just a little plug for Michelle Obama's Becoming book, because I've learned so much about their relationship. We always put Barack Obama on the pedestal, but you know who was really pulling the strings?
Oh yeah, I never put Obama on that imperialistic pedestal. It's Michelle.
It's Michelle. She was the rule follower. She was the highly accomplished one, and she was the one that really has been behind him this whole time and encouraging him. And so, he's all right. He's all right.
Yeah,
but Michelle is
without
really
Michelle,
the one.
You got to really give Michelle that credit.
But did you know this? Did you know that there was a woman that he lived with and proposed to twice before Michelle? A woman named Sheila Miyoshi Jagger. She's now a professor at Oberlin College in Chicago. And he proposed to her once, and her parents said no. Then he proposed again, and she was like, nah. And she's married now. She has 4 kids, but I have to think there's a part of her that's sort of kicking herself. Like, oh, dang, I could be first lady right now.
Right.
Well, I feel like first lady at Dates and Mates today. This has been such an interesting conversation. Thank you.
Really great.
Thank you for sharing your stories,
I had a wonderful
Rael.
time. You're welcome.
I hope you'll
true story.
come back again, and we'll put the links so people can follow you, the relationship scientist, on all your social media.
Thank you.
And online. This episode also was produced by Marquise Olison. He couldn't be here with us today, but we're sending him lots of love and gratitude for an amazing episode. I hope you enjoyed number 246 of Dates and Mates. Tell me your relationship trouble so we can give you answers on a future show. You can email me, Damona@DamonaHoffman.com, or leave me a voicemail at 424-246-6255, or send me a message. DM me on any of the socials at Damona Hoffman. I look forward to reading your reviews, and don't forget to tag me. If you share the show, you could be entered to win a free session with me, a 30-minute free session. So tag me, subscribe to the show, and we will keep giving you more Dates and Mates love advice. Thanks so much for joining. We'll be back again next week with some flirting tips and body language advice for you with Kim Seltzer will be my guest co-host next week. I cannot wait. I'll see you then. Until then, I wish you happy dating.